What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the Brew-Lab. I'm Lone Fox. I'm coming at you with day 2 of spoilers, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty spoilers. There was one more card that appeared during the night. After refreshing this morning, this was still part of yesterday's spoilers, so I'm just gonna append it. And it's one of these Japanese cards, so we've got to get in there. Kodama of the West Tree. By the way, I was at a barbecue all day with some friends in the sun, away from my computer. I have not seen any of these at all. I have not even looked at one of them. So I'm literally doing this for the first time. So I'm pretty excited, Kodama of the West Tree, 2 and a green. Legendary creature spirit. So a lot of green spirits in this. I have a feeling there might be like a sweet band, or maybe even Simic spirit list in the makings here. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tap, and shuffle your library. That's actually not bad. Especially in the spirit deck, you know, with all the disturbed stuff being auras, that counts as modifying the creature. That's pretty cool. I have to keep a close eye on Kodama. All right, and then that brings us to the new stuff, and there's quite a bit today, so without too much blabbing, I'm going to just jump right into it. It seems like a lot of the stuff was spoiled overseas. This doesn't look like Japanese, though. I think that might even be Korean? Vietnamese? Man, I'm the worst at, like, recognizing Asian languages. But Gloom Shrieker. 1 a black and a green, so finally the Golgari Signpost uncommon. It's Menace. So 2/1, and when it enters the battlefield, you return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. If Grimshrieker would die, exile it instead. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Cat Beast. Interesting. I don't know. There's probably better things you could be doing at 3 mana. It's not terrible. I wonder. Golgari has not been getting too much love of late. March of Reckless Joy. Ha! A red instant with an X in it. Happy. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may exile any number of red cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each red card exiled this way. Exile X cards from the top of your library. You may play up to 2 of them until your next turn. I don't understand. So you set the number for X before just before you actually cast it. And then it'll ask you, how many cards do you wish to discard? And then you discard however many you want to, like after having picked how big X is, and then it'll reduce the cost of that X after you've discarded your cards. I don't get it. Maybe it's just badly translated, but we'll have to see. That's an interesting card. Pretty sweet if it is how I just tried to describe. March of the Otherworldly Light. Wow. So it looks like we're getting a cycle of these X1 color, rare, instant speed. This is the white one. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may exile any number of white cards from your hand. The spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. Okay, and then you exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment with mana value X or less. I don't know, man. That's probably going to be the worst one. White having so much problem with card draw. I don't think you really want to be exiling too many things from your hands to reduce the cost of this, which means it's just going to be a pretty expensive exile effect. Meh. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you think, but it looks kind of rubbish to me. Next up, Geothermal Kami. Looking like some draft chaff. 4 mana, 3 and a green. When it ETBs, you may return an enchantment you control to its owner's hand. If you do, you gain 3 life. Okay. Probably pretty sweet in I think all the stuff about enchantments is going to be really important. So yeah, in draft, I think this might actually be pretty sweet. But yeah, won't see any play in standard, I don't think. Moon Snare Prototype. 1 mana blue artifact. This is relevant, finally. I was waiting to see there would be some like cheap artifacts. Tap an untapped artifact or creature you control. Add 1 colorless. Then you can discard it for its channel cost of 5. 4 colorless and a blue. And the owner of target non-land permanent puts it on the top or bottom of their library. Okay. Interesting. I wonder. Owner of target non-land permanent puts it in the bottom. Nah. Rubbish. Another goblin. Another 2 mana goblin. Another goblin artificer. A 2/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 1 and sacrifice an artifact. If you do, create a 3/1 red construct artifact creature token with haste. Okay. I'll have to see if there's any like reason why I would want to sacrifice an artifact. I guess it could just be like a treasure, you know? And it's at the beginning of combat, so then I believe that this construct gets to attack, you know, straight away. Let's see. I'm keeping my eye on these goblins because I want it to be a sweet mono-red goblin deck, that because the current one is rubbish. Bronze plate boar. Artifact creature equipment boar. 3 mana, 2 and a red, or 3/2 with trample. Equipped creature gets 3 +3 +2 and has trample. Wow, that's quite a big buff. +3 +2 and trample. That's not bad at all. The reconfigure cost is very expensive though. So you'd cast it for 3, and then the following turn you gotta reconfigure it onto a creature that you have. Otherwise, just a 3 mana 3/2 with trample is not bad. And then there'll be ways to reduce this reconfigure cost. That's not bad. That's not terrible. Let's keep my eye on that one. Next up, this one definitely looks like Japanese. Swift Hoverbike. 2 mana artifact vehicle with flash and flying. When Swift Hoverbike enters the battlefield, tap up to 1 target creature. Crew 1. Wow, not bad. I wonder if there's actually going to be like a decent vehicle deck in standard. Lots of artifacts. Wow. Leech Gauntlet. Artifact creature equipment Leech. Uncommon. 2 mana with lifelink, and the creature gains lifelink. That's not terrible. You have to look at like how many synergies there are with like things being modified, and you know, reduction cost of reconfigures and things like that. Then there might actually be a really sweet brew. I can't wait. I can't wait to test these out. By the way, it's on the 10th. So in 1 week, it's the 5th. 1 week and 5 days. Excitement levels peaking, people. Next up, we've got Tatsunari, the Toad Rider. This reminds me of Naruto again. Human Ninja. It's got blue and green in its activated ability. Tatsunari, Toad Rider, and target frog you control can't be blocked this turn except by a creature with flying or reach. That is so nice. So whenever you cast an enchantment spell, if you don't control a creature named Kaimi, create Kaimi, a legendary 3/3 black and green frog creature token with whenever you cast an enchantment spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I think Grolnok just got like a friend. Like a Sultai frog tribal self-mill enchantment deck. And then you can just pay this, and it's as if they're like leaping over with the frog. That's why like only flyers and ones with reach can block it. But that's not bad. So it's 6 damage. 3/3 plus 3/3 of the frog. You know, and you can target a different frog you control and maybe select your frog behemoth. Interesting. Tatsunari is looking really nice. What are people saying about it? Exactly, Caleb. 3 mana for 6 power on 2 bodies is good, no matter what you do. Oh yeah, good point. Good point. Okay, so 4 mana. You gotta follow it up with an enchantment to get the toad. It doesn't just like appear when you cast it. It would have been a little bit too busted. But definitely a really nice looking card. I can't wait to play with that. Kappa Tech Wrecker. A 2 mana turtle ninja. It's a 1/3 with ninjutsu. Of course. Kappa Tech Wrecker enters the battlefield with a death touch counter on it. Whenever Kappa Tech Wrecker deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a death touch counter from it. When you do, exile target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Okay, cool. So there's going to be, looks like a cycle of these. There was that black one yesterday that was insanely good card. The Biting Palm Ninja. This one like comes in with the menace counter. You remove the menace counter. You get to basically duress, look at the opponent's hand, exile the card. Today we have death touch counter, and then we're exiling artifact, enchantment, or player artifact or enchantment. That's really sweet, I think, in a deck that would, you know, like to get rid of. There's always these like 2 mana things that get rid of artifacts or enchantments. There's been one in almost every set lately. Even most recently with Outland Liberator. And there's one in white with Flash that does the same to Cathar Commando. And there's the set before, there was that Cleric that you play and you either gain 3 life or kill an artifact or enchantment or exile graveyard. You know, there's always one of these in every set, and I think it's to do with limited as well, because you need that type of thing. You don't need it, but it's like it's a nice trend because it's a body that, you know, can also be removal for that thing. So then you kind of can save a spot in your deck for something else without having to run like just a card for removing artifacts and enchantments, which I used to do, you know, always like a 2 or 3 of back in the day. But now there's, you know, all of these, it's like a spell attached to a body, and it just, yeah, I mean, it's so busted. So this might actually be pretty sweet, but I think there's probably better ones, unless you've got like a specific ninjutsu deck that, you know, wants all your cards to have ninjutsu. Then instead of running one of the other ones I just mentioned, you play this one. Then we've got Assassin's Color Ink. 2 colorless, 2 black. Instant speed. If you control an artifact, the spell costs 1 less to cast. If you control an enchantment, the spell... Oh, okay, so it could be... Okay, this is the one that was in Marrow's teaser blog post thing, where he said there was a thing that could be cast for 2, destroy target creature or planeswalker. That's super sweet. That is super sweet. Nice. Very nice. Definitely going to test that one out. Agente Futurista, Humano Ninja. Looks like Spanish. Human Ninja. As long as Futurist Agent is tapped, it is a human citizen with basic power and toughness 1/1 and it can't be blocked. Then you pay 2 colorless and a blue to untap it. Yeah, good point. Okay, thanks, John Doyle, for explaining that to me. So that's pretty clever. You can swing in, because you can do this at instant speed. That's pretty sweet, especially to like facilitate some ninjutsu shenanigans, because it's unblockable, right? So then they don't declare a blocker, then you can ninjutsu in. Or yeah, and then you just untap it and you can have like a 3/4 blocker. It's pretty decent. That's a pretty decent card. Might actually be a pretty important piece in the ninja deck. We'll have to see. Next up, we've got Malicious Malfunction. Sorcery speed, 1 and a black. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. If a creature would die this turn, exile it instead. -2/-2. It's always like just not quite enough. But I guess against mono white, this is pretty fantastic. It's just that at 3 mana, you've got even just Path of Peril, or like, I don't know, probably just still better to just run Meathook Massacre. But in limited, this might be pretty sweet. We'll have to see. Then, Hotshot Mechanic. Finally, the Fox Pilot that was spoiled in the teaser article again. Or teased at. Artifact creature Fox Pilot. White card. 1 mana. Cruise vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. So this can crew 4. Interesting. Okay, so because I'm like super excited about Fox Tribal, and that's like the first Fox we've seen. So it looks like it's going to be one of these artifact decks with all the modifications and things. Wow, that's exciting. I'm super keen. Next up, we've got the Rebel Outlaw. 1 and a red, Human Samurai. Has +2/+0 for each other modified creature you control. Equipment's orders you control and counters are modifications. Nice. Could get pretty big. 3 toughness isn't too bad for 2 mana. Interesting. Samurai deck. Junji, the Midnight Sky, the black mythic dragon spirit for the set. You know, we've seen the blue one, I think, and the white one. This one looks to be, to me, probably one of the best of the lot. Flying with Menace, 5/5 for 5 mana. That's great. Just base, like, face value. But then, when it dies, you can choose 1. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Or you put a target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. From a graveyard. What? That is buster. You can pick an opponent's card. You can choose your stuff from your graveyard. 2 life is very little, downside to pay for that. You just keep swinging in with the 5/5. The opponent's like, oh my god, I gotta kill it. Gets rid of it. Poof, you just like bring back another freaking whatever. As long as it's a non-dragon. That's not a huge like restriction. That's great. That's a freaking amazing card, I think. I can't wait to try that in my black decks. And like the art on that is just wow. Wow. Next up, we got Lizard Blades. Ooh. A rare equipment lizard artifact creature. Equipped creature has double strike. Reconfigure cost is only 2. That's not bad at all. It's a nice little 2-drop. So, because the play pattern is pretty slow, you know, you're going to play this on turn 2, then you play something on turn 3. You know, either you're equipping this onto your, or reconfiguring this onto one of your 1-drops. But, you know, there's not that many super duper powerful 1-drops that you'd want to have double strike on. You probably want to be putting this on your 3-drop. So then you can only equip it on turn 4. So it's going to be on the battlefield as just a 1/1 with double strike for like 2 turns before you can actually equip it. Or you can just, you know, play something else on turn 2, and on turn 4 you play this and pay the reconfigured cost all in one. Interesting. We'll have to see how it's the usual problem I have with equip stuff. Then you pay the reconfigured cost as you're about to, you know, put it onto a creature. The opponent removes that creature. You just like pay 2 for nothing. I guess it stays as a creature, and it's not just a useless equipment that's sitting there. So I guess it's a little better, but yeah, we'll have to see. Then we've got the Runaway Trash Bot. Beg your pardon. A 3-mana trample, and it gets +1/+0 for each artifact and or enchantment card in your graveyard. Okay. Meh. Twin Shot Sniper. A 4-mana Goblin Archer with Reach. Okay. It's a 2/3 though. It's quite pathetic. When Twin Shot Sniper enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target. Or you can discard it and it deals 2 damage to any target. Pay 2 mana. That's actually probably pretty freaking good. I think that's actually pretty freaking good. This channel is like so far being just ridiculous. It's like probably the most overpowered you know, mechanic from the set. You can't counter it. It's just like happens. And I think it's instant speed. I'm gonna have to quickly go and check on that again. Boop, 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 boop. Ninjutsu channel was the last one. Each channel ability allows you to discard the card. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't say, and I don't want to listen to this guy. Well, I don't want to bore you guys, but I think it's at instant speed. So then it's essentially just a shock, like that's stapled on a 2/3 reach guy. So if you need to block a flyer, good. Otherwise, you can just go face or whatever. Removal. There was Bone Crusher Giant did very similar thing. It was also 2 damage. And that saw a buttload of play. It was also a 4-drop. No, it was a 3-drop. But anyway, of course, this isn't rare, so I still think this might be pretty good in the Goblin deck. Kind of taking the place of one of your removals to you know, to play with fire or something like that, and you can just like increase the amount of creatures in the brew. That's quite nice. Asari Captain, 5-mana human samurai, 4/3 with haste. Whenever a samurai or a warrior you control attacks alone, it gets a +1/+0 until end of turn for each samurai warrior you control. Wow. So you build up a bunch of samurais on the board, and then turn 5 you slam this guy down and you swing in. And he gets, because he's alone, he'll get like a huge buff because of all the other samurais, and then the opponent either blocks it or dies. That's pretty sweet. We'll have to see how the samurai deck kind of fleshes out, but that's not terrible. It's a little bit pricey, but I guess it's because they want you to, like, if you play it on turn 4, there's less chance of you having a decent sized you know, samurais or warriors on the board. Then, so it looks like we're getting a cycle of these two. We got the black one yesterday. Where was it? Pretty certain it was here. Okay. I'm pretty sure there was the one that has like 4 black, 1 colorless and 4 black. But anyway, this is the red one. Instant speed. You may cast up to 2 instants and or sorcery spells with total mana value of 6 or less from your graveyard and or hand without paying their mana costs. If those spells will be put into your graveyard, exile them instead. What? That's so busted. 6 or less. I think that's ridiculously busted. In your burn deck. Epic. I cannot wait to try that card. Now, why can't I find the black one? Remember, guys, it was discard. Oh, here it is. It just looks weird. Invoke Despair. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life. Then you draw a card. Repeat this process for an enchantment and or planeswalker. This one's also super duper good. I hope there's one for each color. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's spoilers. Let's do one last little refresh. Nothing new. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to tune in again tomorrow for more spoiler content. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the Brew-Lab, signing out. Peace, y'all.